November is a big month. We have some really big shifts happening, and some that are a little bit wonky and are going to cause some unexpected change for us. So we're really being called to hold center and to trust. Also, we've got some light coming in that is going to be so wonderful, really going to bring in a lot of hope for us. Going to have to pay attention to our communication and really watch our reactivity this month so that we really stay aligned with ourselves and with each other as well. There's some dates you're going to want to make a note of that I want you to completely avoid doing anything important. And also your creativity, you're going to have some new inspiration around your creativity. Hi, I'm Prema Gurreri, Vedic astrologer and consciousness coach, and welcome to Chart Your Path. If this is resonating for you, give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification so that you don't miss any updates. I usually post videos weekly. And if you haven't taken the Sacred Wealth Code quiz yet, it's my free quiz that gives you one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. The link is down below, as well as the other links to get a reading and work with me, which I'll tell you more about at the end of the video. So how have you been riding all of this energy? It's been a really interesting time. I know I said last month, and it's true, that some clarity has been dropping in, but also the energy is really ramped up. And, I don't know if you find yourself busy right now, but it's been a very busy time. So there's been a lot of energy moving in a lot of directions, which sometimes causes us a lot of stress. So I really want you to manage your stress. Make sure you're breathing, taking good care of yourself, getting some sleep, and holding center with your spiritual practices, whatever that might be for you. Meditation, yoga, being in nature, all big keys for me. So this month, we start the month with, I want to talk about the Mars energy first. We will have an eclipse this month. There's a new moon coming up too on the 4th. I'm going to talk about all of that during this update here, so hang tight. And if you have questions, just go ahead and post them in the comments below. So Mars is in Libra. We have a lot of energy happening around Libra. This is Vedic astrology. This is the true placement of the planets. So we have a lot of energy happening in Libra, a lot of energy happening in Scorpio, and a little bit happening in Sagittarius and Aquarius. But really, Libra and Scorpio are the main energetic points where most of the planets are playing out their energy. So with Mars being in Libra, and also Mercury is there too. And you may feel some frustration in your relationships, but really what you want to do in this time period of this month is get very clear about where can you pour your disciplined, creative, productive energy. Mars, who is your honorable warrior, it's also your strategist in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetypes system, and really you want to access more of the energy of the strategist in that kind of productivity, a little bit more thinking, a little bit more creative type action, bringing in some of the Libra Venus creative energy, as opposed to it being in the honorable warrior energy, which is where you're going to be pushing back. And you may find that happening in your relationships, especially around communication, because Mercury is in this placement too. So you may not feel like you're getting your fair share of things. Your boundaries might be a little bit wobbly. So remember, boundaries are not walls you set up and rules for other people. They're rules you set up for yourself and how you take action, who you are being. I teach a whole module on this actually in both of my Sacred Wealth Circle and the Solutionary Blueprint program. It's very, very important. We want to maintain our energetic boundaries so we're not overflowing onto somebody else, and also we're not getting our energy drained. Very important. Your agreements, Libra rules are agreements, and so our boundaries are agreements as well. So agreements you have with yourself, but agreements you have with others. And so you might have some energy coming up around your boundaries and agreements. And I encourage you to be squeaky clean around your agreements. Be clear about what you've agreed to and what you haven't agreed to. And you don't want to be in a fight around your agreements. Instead, you want to just be very clear on what they are. Not a great time during the 8th, 9th, and 10th to be making new agreements, because Mercury and Mars are going to be aligned at that time. And so I really want you to mark those days, the 8th, 9th, and 10th, to keep things really simple. avoid any important communication that you can. And if you do need to make important communication during that time, if you can really access the energy of the strategist and strategize how you're going to do that, you're going to stay grounded. You're going to be very clear in your communication. You're not going to project onto others. And if others are projecting onto you, you're going to be like a duck and let it slide off your back. You can do that by breathing into your heart and making sure you're making a connection with the other person. But you have to watch out for arguments, and things can flare up with Mars energy. So it's best to avoid situations where that might happen. And to manage this energy, what I want to invite you to do is dive into your creative projects. You see, this part of you, this Mars part of you, wherever it is in your soul blueprint, your chart, it is wanting you to be productive. It's wanting to do things right. It wants discipline. So this creativity of Libra, pour that creative productive energy into a project. What are you working on right now? What needs your focus and attention? Or what can you do as far as a creative project, whether it is something, in the home, something in your business that you've really wanted to be doing, whether it was writing a blog, or maybe there's a program that you want to be putting out, or there's some rearranging that needs to be done. Do it in a creative way. So whether it's something really grounded and physical, or whether it's something in your business, pour your energy into that. And as far as, creative writing could be good during this time, but also in your speaking, as long as you're doing some strategizing around that and bringing your passion to it and making sure you are talking about what you're for and not what you're against, this will serve you well. Now, with Mars, I always suggest that you sweat, that you exercise, you take the edge off, that you are doing your yoga, that you're going out for a walk, you're getting grounded in nature. This will take the edge off that energy so that you'll not be as impulsive, and that you will slow down a little bit. Now, I want to invite you to just to ask yourself the question, what creative project can I pour my energy into this month? This is going to really serve you well as a foundation this month, to pour your energy into something. I'd love to hear what that is for you. What's the creative project? Where can you pour your passion this month? We also have Mercury in Libra, and that's from the very beginning of the month all the way to the 20th of the month. Now, I talked about this a little bit. We're going to want to communicate about things. That's what the communicator wants to do. This is also the placement. Mercury also rules the merchant and also rules the messenger. Now, avoid the days I talked about, the 8th, 9th, and the 10th, for doing anything really important. But again, you may want to focus in on just be super clear. Writing your communication out before you need to is super useful. But again, this might give you creative ideas to like I said, get your teachings out there, write a blog, whatever that might be. Do some social posts to help bring some clients in for you. When Mercury moves on the 20th into Scorpio, and then we're going to be in that penetrative energy of Scorpio. The mystic K2 is there. I believe I have the mystic up here behind me. And during this time, again, the creative writing is going to be really helpful. Research, Scorpio is this place of penetration. It can be an emotional place. It also is a place of looking at teachings and like astrology and diving into things that are sort of behind the scenes. Psychic ability, intuition will be turned up during this time. So I encourage you to use it for that. Watch out for the shadow side. Again, this is the last 10 days of the month with the communicator, with Mercury, and that is going to be where you're not as good with your discrimination and you get a little more pessimistic or hooked into gossip or drama. Really mark those days to really be really clear with yourself. When you're getting hooked into drama. We do that when we get bored sometimes. And also, that's some of the frequencies that are sort of on the way to the depth of what Scorpio is, and this deep devotional energy. And we can get caught in those layers of beliefs and sort of the darker aspects of the psyche. So meditation, breathing, being very clear with yourself, and writing things out is just really useful, because you have to go through a process around it to help you get clear. And really lean into your curiosity. And and if you find yourself, gossip, drama, you have lost your curiosity. And what can you get curious about in the situation? So that'll be the sole question for that transit. Now, Venus is also, we start the month with Venus in Sagittarius. Now this is a very inspirational placement, and Venus, our great connector. This is the energy of the heart. It is the connector in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype system. It is also the muse and the artist as well. And in this placement, I want to invite you to, yes, the connector is at play, but you may want to be connecting on a one-on-one level, or and on a more worldly level, a tactile level. And because Venus is all about also pleasure and beauty, and it's the goddess, and we want to connect in. But sometimes we could feel a little disappointed in this placement because it's more about the ideas and the spirituality, not necessarily the tactile essence of beauty and pleasure. So you want to invoke the muse here, because the muse is all about being inspiring and being inspired. So inspiration, I would write that down. And what are the teachings that inspire you? Dive into those. Where can you bring more grace, more beauty? What inspiration you have? When those inspirations come, go ahead and use them in the physical world. Use them as a connection point. But don't depend on seeing it and touching it. Instead, use that creativity behind the scenes and let that inspire you and inspire your vision. And stay out of the place, like, share your creativity and stay out of that place where you sort of measure up the world against this bigger vision that you can see, this idealism, and then you end up feeling disappointed. Instead, be on the give. Be on the give with your creative energy. How can you help share creative ideas? Play in that realm of ideas, and ask yourself the soul question of, where can you find more beauty? Where can you find more inspiration? And any of the soul questions here, I'd love if you go ahead and share. Where in your life right now could you find more beauty, or could you bring more beauty? And where do you find your inspiration that just really lights up your heart? Because this is the energy of the heart. I'd love to hear where that is for you. The new moon will be on November 4th. And this is also the Festival of Lights, Diwali. This is in Libra again. So the new moon is in Libra. It's at 18 degrees of Libra. It's in the nakshatra of Swati. And also we have an aspect of Uranus here. So there's this breakdown to break through energy, unexpected changes. So on the new moon, it's very likely that unexpected things come to the surface for you. I think we're going to see that collectively, some things come to the surface. And Swati, this lunar mansion here, wants to sort of organize your prana, organize your energy. The sun is here as well. We have a sun and moon together. The soul of the consciousness is what, when they come together, it is a new moon. It's a dark moon, but the sun is not as strong in Libra. It's going to be there for the first half of the month, and it's not strong for like putting your energy out there as a leadership. It's leadership from the inside out. I talked about this in my last month's video, October video. You can go back and watch that if you like. But this is where you want to listen in more and open up to receiving. This is the inner growth, and work on your frequency, your energetic frequency, your inner growth during this time, and opening up to that. So as we go into the second half of the month, you can step forward with more of your leadership. This new moon and the Festival of Lights, Diwali, is always calling us to, how can we bring in more light and be intentional with our light. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving into the dark time. And in the dark time, we are called to hold that light within, to turn inward for the light instead of outward. In that beautiful, spring and summertime, we're seeing all this growth and beauty on the outside. Everything quiets down. Even it gets to be, not as beautiful out there in a lot of ways, and it's quite dark. It was dark when I got up in the morning at 5:30 for meditation. It was still dark at 6:30 when I got up to get going with things. And it's harder for the brain to turn on. It's because we need to sit for longer periods of time, take time in, find that light, hold it within. What helps you to access your light within? This is very important. This is the Festival of Lights, and it's always this new moon around this time of year. Now, with this festival of Diwali, it is really about, the mythology goes in with honoring the victory of good over evil, and the knowledge over ignorance. And so this is an important time, again, how do you want to animate your life? Now, the gods and goddesses that are connected with this are, it's linked to the goddess of Saraswati, who represents music, knowledge, flowing things, wisdom, the arts, and again, Libra. So again, we've been talking about pouring your energy into a creative project. We've been talking about that creativity with Venus and your ideas and your inspirations. Again, let that, how can you creatively animate your light from the inside out? When we come to, actually, let me say one other thing about this. The nakshatra of Swati is about harnessing the wind, the spiritual power, so breath work, your prana is very important here. So pranayama, breath work, whether it's right and left nostril breathing, whether you're just focusing on those deep inhalations and deep exhalations, conscious breathing, box breathing, where you breathe in maybe for 4 or 6 counts, you pause and hold it for that long, you exhale for that long, and then you pause again before you start the next cycle. Pay attention to your breath, especially on this new moon, but really throughout the month. That's going to really help you to hold and cultivate your presence and your prana. So Libra is the social sign where we want balance, we want connectivity, and so we're just looking for that balance within yourself. Of course, balance is constant unified movement. It is not one stagnant point. In fact, I taught a masterclass recently, The Art of Balance. The link is in the description below. It's a free class, and I talked all about how to balance, especially in these challenging times, which does take courage. So let's talk next about the sun. The sun is, it starts the first half of the month in Libra, and as I talked about that already, and then it moves into Scorpio, which is really powerful, and that happens on November 15th. So as of the 16th or so, we get going with that energy of the sun, the soul, the leader, the king, the celebrity. This is, different ways of animating our light, the soul. That's the sun energy. But in Scorpio, as we've talked about a bit, this is this deep research place. Underneath everything in Scorpio, go for the devotion. That's what it's about. But see, it's meeting up with K2. Now, this is also the axis of the eclipse pattern. I'll talk about the lunar eclipse here in just a moment, which is going to happen on the full moon, and the lunar eclipse is happening opposite of this in Taurus. K2 is the mystic and has that penetrating ability. Now, the sun is going to go here, and Mercury will be joining this placement as well. So we have to watch out for that shadow side of ourself and that shadow side of our psyche and the shadow side of our emotions, which are going to be the darker, the heavier, there's what's in this for me, and fear, or jealousy, or feeling less than. That's the shadow side. Now, we've been faced with that for the last year, with the eclipse pattern being here. You've had to do healing in this area, whether you've done it or not, it's happened. And then you can go in willingly, and you're going to go for another pass at it here, but you're with the eclipses, but you're going to have the sun here for some strength, for some more illumination. And so whatever's up for you for clearing next, I want to invite you to be aware of that. What's still holding you back as far as what beliefs are you hanging on to? I'd love to hear what beliefs are really still keeping you held back, because you have the ability here and the empowerment to have, the sun here is going to bring in more trust, more clarity. It's going to help you to get empowered over what you can get empowered in, and that's of your own energy, and to overcome any of that negative pessimism, and I talked about this before, the dramas that can come with Scorpio. So so where's drama happening in your life? If you're noticing that, that's a place you need to dive in and look at what beliefs are there serving you. So what do you need to overcome this season? What are you still holding on to that's keeping you held back? You will have the energy to, but I'm encouraging you to really get clear about what that is, and I'd love to hear what that is for you. So the lunar eclipse here. Now, this is going to be happening on the 19th, and it is happening in Taurus, in Kritika. at about 3 degrees of Kritika. I will do another update for that. That's going to be on the full moon. It's going to be an emotional time, eclipses are typically, and you're going to need to mark your calendar. We don't make important decisions during eclipses. Also, December 4th, we're going to have an eclipse too, a solar eclipse. So mark your calendar. Don't make, these are changing periods of time. This is where the floor is shifting. There's a big change of course happening, so you don't want to make an important decision before all the information is in. This is happening in a place in the chart that has to do with, we want harmony. It's Taurus. We want things to be stable. So this is going to rock the boat there a little bit on the stability, and it's going to really help us to release some of our attachments and our emotional attachments. I'll make another update, so stay tuned for that. And finally, we have light coming in. We have Jupiter coming out of debilitation in Capricorn on the 20th of November, moving into Aquarius, bringing in more light. Now, Jupiter is no longer retrograde. It's moving forward. We can feel that. That's great. This is our great teacher. This is our great planet of light. This is our great visionary. And so what I want to invite you to do is, this is bringing in that energy where we can come together. We've had a lot of polarity. Last April is when Jupiter went into Aquarius for the first time. So think about what happened between April and September. Things were opening up more in a lot of ways. There was more hope, and then things kind of shut down some more. Well, Jupiter's going to help bring that light back in. Be careful of being too opinionated, but we're going to start to heal this polarity, all depending on our own choices. And I want to invite you is, where can you let this energy help you to see, where do we come together? Where do we belong? Where do you belong? How can you belong more? This is the sign of Aquarius, the power to the people, opposed Leo, which is the power to more of the one. They all have a place within us, and a place within our hearts, and a place within our psyche, and a place within the cosmos, but it is time to bring more power to the people. Jupiter, we need Jupiter in a good position to have growth. And in Vedic astrology, Jupiter's been in Capricorn, and it's been debilitated. It's been in and out of Capricorn. It's finally going to leave Capricorn. And even in April of 2022, Jupiter's going to come to Pisces, and that's a time of a lot of light. There is a lot of big shift in energy at that particular period of time. So I know there's a lot going on. I'll, again, bring you another update. Feel free to drop me any questions about what I have talked about. I can't really answer personal questions about your chart, but if you want to grab a reading, you can see the links in the section below in the description. And if you'd like a Sacred Wealth Code reading, or you'd like a soul success map reading where we dive deep into your whole soul blueprint and really give you, the transits for the year and all of that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Share this with somebody who this could really help, and go ahead and give me a like on this. If you haven't taken the free quiz, again, you'll find the link below. It'll be in the comments as well. And if you are a conscious woman visionary and you'd like to do some deeper mentorship, and you're really ready to go deeper than ever before to transform your life and your business from the inside out, to really, you know that it's time now to learn once and for all how to master the art of living on purpose, and the art of living from the inside out, to manifest wealth for yourself, wealth on all levels of your being. You want to make that impact. These are the women that I work with in the Solutionary Blueprint. This is the body of work of my life, including the astrology, including mentorship around your gifts, around bringing your work out into the world, clearing everything in the way. We do the outer work, but we do the deep inner work, so we can move out in that way, and to really know your soul blueprint deeply, so it can guide you. There's a link below to apply to that program, and me and my team will have a conversation with you, and we'll find out if you're a good fit for that. So leave me a comment. So much love to you.